Welcome back, theater people. This is Jim Gallagher. Welcome to Theater Branding in the Digital Age, Part 4. Now, we've explored what branding is and why theaters should brand. The next question is, how do we brand? Is there a guide or rules that you can follow to brand your theater? I am very happy to report that there are now. Here are my 11 rules of theater branding. Let's start at the beginning. Yes, a very good place to start. Why does your theater exist? What's your mission statement? What's your purpose? This can actually be a hard question, so start with the obvious questions. What kind of work do you produce? Theater with a socially conscious message? Children's theater? Classics? Shakespeare? Maybe you only do musicals. Now, once you've answered that, then get more specific. What's your personality or your approach? For example, do you produce classical plays or do you produce innovative takes on classical plays? Look at these three logos. It's clear that all these groups produce classical work, but only one of the logos communicates the theater's approach to the material. Can you guess which one? Yep, that's the one. Now be as specific as you can. This is important, and it will affect every other decision that you make. Now, what does this logo express about the theater that it represents? I mean, obviously it's a children's theater, but they look like they do the kind of children's theater that adults won't absolutely hate. That's because the logo isn't too whimsical or silly or too kiddish. If the word children was removed, for example, I think you'd still know the kind of work that they do. My first impression of the Atlantic Theater Company is that this is a group that is not afraid to take chances. The abstract graphic emblem is, of course, derived from the A in Atlantic and also suggests a megaphone or a spotlight. It's a very modern design with a look-at-me color palette. The modern feel of this logo icon makes me think that this is a group that will do some innovative work. The interplay of the mountain and crown suggests an imagination that will likely present itself in their stage work as well. This is a theater that seems to know who they are and tells the audience what they do. Now, once you figure that out, it's time for rule number 2. It's a branded world. If Peter Brady taught me anything, it's don't fight the tide, come along for the ride. In rule number 1, we were talking about who you are, not about logos. However, I needed to use logos in order to have something for you to look at. That's because a logo is an organization pared down to its simplest form. I point this out to highlight the importance of a logo. Your logo and your theater's identity go hand in hand. Not having a logo is like starting a country without a flag. I realize that I've been using examples from a lot of professional nonprofit theaters, but I don't mean to suggest that only pro theaters can afford a logo or any of the other elements that we'll touch on in the series. I do incorporate some professional examples because we can learn a lot from them, and there is very little that I'm showing you that is prohibitively expensive. Case in point, all 3 of these logos were created for community theaters. You see, you can be a community theater and still look good. Beyond what we covered in the last section, to connect, stand out, inform, and show you care, there are practical reasons for having a logo. First of all, it saves money. A logo is design shorthand that saves ad space and therefore saves money. Take a look at these online theater forums. Your advertising space is a 200 by 200 pixel banner ad. Space is tight, so if your name was, for example, the New Theater Company of Upper and Lower Midland County in Greater Schenectady, there'd be no room for anything else. A compact logo makes so much more sense, and you can fit in frivolous information like, your performance dates. A second reason to have a logo is that we are visual beings, and images stay in the memory longer than words. This blackout is intentional. Which one of those 4 logos do you remember? The bright orange of Atlantic Theater, the O'Neill name, the bold font of Font du Lac, or the dense blackness of the black dirt icon? There's no single answer, but when a person walks past your poster or surfs past you online, you don't have much time to make an impression. Some people are concerned with looking too branded. If that's a concern for you, you can get a logo that matches whoever you are, but get a logo. Not having one is not the answer. Okay, so your damn logo should be memorable, easy to read, capture who you are, and be flexible enough to work in various applications. You don't have a damn logo? I'll have a few steps later on to help you out, so stay tuned. Okay, that was rules number 1 and number 2. Come back next time when we'll delve further into the 11 rules of theater branding. This is Jim at Drama Queen Graphics, signing off.